What's up, YouTube? Mike from Mass here, Mass Aquariums. Monday night, and it's a 40-gallon breeder reef tank update. I have not really done a full update on my 40-gallon breeder in quite a while, and it's about time I did. We've got a few additions and one subtraction. So, if you guys didn't know, I'll give a little quick shout out to Rico's Reef Tank. Rico is having a Nano Reef Tank Challenge 2018, and you have to set up a brand new Nano Reef Tank, 25 gallons or less, and you're not allowed to put anything live in it until January 1st. So, I have mine cycling right now with water, and that's it, but the scape is pretty much done. And I wanted to do a quick update on the 40 gallon. Now I have only whites on. I usually do whites and blues, but I decided to do this update with whites only, and looks pretty cool. As cool as Michael Aarons would say. But in order to do that, Rico's Reef Tank, I had to tear down my 10 gallon, which I was about to do anyway. So I had to add the lone clownfish in this tank, as well as the skunk cleaner shrimp. Obviously the shrimp is doing great because he just, ran over to the other shrimp, and they never leave each other. They're like side by side. As you can see, my two black clowns swimming around where they always do, and they are still picking on the lone clownfish. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be. When I first put him in the tank, they kind of attacked him a little bit, but now they kind of just go up to him and they kind of just swim with him for a little while. So, maybe he's going to be joining the crew, and whether he'll turn to male, I'm hoping, because he was the female in the pair in my 10 gallon, and I already have a established pair here. Look at how beautiful the black Darwin clowns are. Oddly enough, the clowns would never hit up that bubble tip up there. But this other clown loves it, and he's bringing the pair towards it often. And, I mean, you can only see a little bit, but there's about 6 bubble tips behind the rock. They just kept splitting and splitting and splitting. On bad news side, I lost my 6-line wrasse that I've had since almost the beginning of the tank. I know they're very common, but I think 6-line wrasses are just absolutely gorgeous. They're just pretty. The lines go right through their eyes. They're beautiful colors. They're always darting around. And he was a great, great fish for this tank. He was not a pain in the ass. And like always, I never seem to lose fish dying in the tank. I came down the other morning, and it was a 6-line wrasse chip on my floor, which really bummed me out because he was one of my favorite fish. Now, everybody knows I don't name my fish, but when you have a fish for a really long time, you get pissed when they die, especially that way, because he was healthy and he jumped right out of the tank. This was before I added the clown and the other shrimp, so it wasn't like that was the case. I'd be bummed if I lost my hawkfish. He's one of my favorite fish, as well as this clown pair. But so that's the fish updates of the tank. I have this Cyano that has decided to break out on my bird's nest randomly. It's so weird how the tank is just crystal clear and clean and everything's going good, and then just out of nowhere, boom, I got Cyano. You can see it right, where's my finger? Right there. I'll get a close up and show you. And it happened a few weeks ago, and then it completely disappeared out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, that's good. And then boom, it came back. Like, I can't explain it. There's not an overabundance of nutrients in this tank. My export is well above my import. I feed very, very, very light amount of fish food once a day. I know corals produce waste like fish do, but the filter is plenty. I have plenty of GFO, plenty of carbon. I just changed it out with my water change, so let's see if that helps, because it's right around that 3-month mark, and that's when I usually change my ChemiPure Blue and my GFO. Cans are super plump and happy. Everything is growing really, really well. I even the 2 frags of the frog skin are spreading unbelievably fast on their new homes. Nothing as far as corals has died in forever, it seems, so that's good. You do want to keep in mind, folks, corals do produce waste, so that's bioload. So when you're adding more and more and more corals to your tank, you're adding to the bioload of your tank. It's not just like a plants, you know, where you put them in and they're good. Corals will produce waste, so good tip for especially when starting a new tank. Adding fish and corals slowly is very important. You just don't want to start up a tank and dump like 50 corals in there all at once. You know, it's a crazy amount of bioload. As you can see, the Kenya trees are still spreading like crazy. I love how the ones on the bottom left look way different than the one in the center. I kind of wish that one in the center wasn't there, but that's where every other Kenya tree in this tank came from. Just grows and grows and grows. It detaches from that middle one and then lands somewhere, and that's where it sticks. I will apologize in advance if my boiler goes off. It is winter time and the thing goes off all the time, even though I always have a fire going. So let's get a few close-ups and we'll call it a wrap on the 40 breeder. My handy dandy new tripod, I love it. So brain coral still spreading. I love this Rickordia, this mushroom. This frag that I got from Fragriculture, this I think it's a bounce mushroom. I'm not really sure. I forget. It's a pretty rare mushroom that he said. And he said once you can get it big enough and frag it, you can make a ton of money. So I thought this thing was going to die because it just was so tiny and looked weird. But it's actually doing really great. Cans are doing awesome. These guys are plump and happy. I do need to get some more to fill this little space right here. My Goni Pora, after almost a year of doing awesome, is not doing that well. It started to like melt back. It's losing heads. It's losing polyps. Really cool is this leather coral that I had up here that was constantly getting stung by the bubble tip. So I cut it off and just placed it right here thinking it was going to die. And it's got polyp extension. Hammers are doing awesome. This torch is doing awesome. So this is the frog skin I fragged. Some here and some there. I'll try to see if I can close up. Focus, baby. Yeah, it's not focusing. Anyway, it's growing all over the rock. Spreading nicely. Get a top. Look at all those bubble tips. Ooh, that looks beautiful. Man, I wish they were on the front of the tank, which is unfortunate. So yeah, here's the Cyano. It just started to cover this bird's nest like crazy. It's driving me absolutely bonkers. But the bird's nest is recovered. Mike told me that if the coral was alive, it would not allow the cyano to grow on it, but that's not the case. And I got this nice green monster pally that I used to have a ton of. And when these other pallies started to take over, they disappeared. But looks like one made it, because it's popping right out. All these hammers doing awesome. Frog spawn. Duncan. Still got these EC zoas that were the only zoas to make it out of this whole rock. Remember, this rock was covered in beautiful, beautiful zoas, and they all died, except these. These guys are still alive. Frog spawn doing good. I think this new aqua clip I have is making it a little tough to focus. But look, don't you just love GSP? It's like one of my favorite corals. So easy, spreads like crazy, but it's just gorgeous. Like, I just love the way it looks. And then of course you got that Duncan way in the back that I moved there long ago, and it's just absolutely growing like crazy. I can't even take it off the frag rack because it just grows so good there. Pally Central Alley. I wish these were like red or like green or some crazy color, but they're just plain. But they still spread like a bastard. And the fish are doing great. So just wanted to give you guys a 10-minute 40-gallon breeder update and give you a little insight on what's going on with the tank. No future plans for this tank. I'm going to keep it running. I'm going to be adding more coral. And that's about it. So, this is Mike from Mass. I'm out.